As for powder, it really is dependent on the day. I kind of swap it out with all of these. The Too Faced Moon Crush highlighter is super pretty on the skin, but I will say this will emphasize your texture. I don't know if this is a word, I have 2 shades of this, but this is really, really pretty, but I will say this will emphasize your texture, so be wary of that. But this is super blinding and glowy on the cheeks. Something that doesn't really do that, but still has like the same level of glow that one does, is the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. I will say that finding a shade that matches you, and this one is a little bit more difficult. I have a deeper shade and I have a lighter shade. Neither one of them are perfect for my skin, but this is super gorgeous on the skin, and it doesn't emphasize texture. So I would really recommend that if you have a lot of texture on the skin. Another one that I absolutely love that also doesn't emphasize texture is the Patrick Top. I don't use the cream. Okay, so is it necessary? This is $40, so do with that what you will. If you're not gonna use the cream, I don't really know how much it's worth it, but this is such a beautiful highlighter, and what I like about this is a pinky hue, but it's not like a blush. You know, like you don't have to, you can't, you know, it doesn't like, you know what I mean? It doesn't appear too dark on the skin. This is super gorgeous and super blinding. So I don't know why everyone notices this one blinding. If I had to disagree, I think this is super blinding on the cheeks. As for the ones I grabbed the most out of my makeup collection, the Dior Glitz palette is super pretty, super blinding. My go-to shades in this one is usually these two. You can tell. I kind of want most of these two, but this is super gorgeous, especially like to use these in the corner of the eyes, and I feel like this is super lovely. And then my absolute go-to, number 1 highlighter of all time, in my humbling opinion, is the Rare Beauty highlighter, which looks like this, which apparently I broke a little bit. I don't get because I didn't drop it, so I'm confused. I wonder if something touched the highlight. That's the one thing I would say with this highlight. You have to be very careful because it shatters very easily. But it's still too pretty to care in my opinion, so I still think it's so pretty, regardless of that. But you gotta be careful with that fact that it can easily break. You know, but it's super gorgeous. But again, it shatters so easily. Something can touch it. Something hits it too hard and it will shatter. But that glow is absolutely gorgeous. So, I still think it's worth it. Despite that, because of how pretty that glow is. This is like my favorite makeup. This is my favorite highlight of all time. If I'm being honest, if I had to pick one, it would be these two, but if I had to pick one over this one, I would pick this one. The only gripe I have is that shattering. So if you would want to avoid that, you're probably not picking this one. Because, I mean, you can build this one up. I would say, I would just spraying your face and then, see, because this one's not as blinding. See, it's pretty, but it's not as, you know, boom as this one is. I think this color probably matches a bit more. That's a terrible swatch. See what I mean? Like, that's pretty, but that's even prettier. But again, these shatter so easily, so you have to be extra careful with that highlighter. And if I were to swatch them, you know, swatch them all. Well, I might as well. That's the patch. Okay, swatching it does not do this one justice. I feel like doesn't do it justice. Again, see how blinding the Charlotte Tilbury is. The Rare Beauty one is. Yeah, I'm gonna swatch the Moon Crush. Actually, I think this one is similar to the Rare Beauty. Yeah, see that has the similar. But again, this is more texture. This doesn't emphasize texture, but this one does. It's a little bit chunkier, as you can tell. And then the Charlotte Tilbury one. This also moves. Right here. Yeah, see that has a little, that's probably the closest to the Rare Beauty. That's probably the closest in pigment, and this doesn't shatter easily, so, you know, do with that what you will.